We are on the line just below the middle of page Lamed. The line begins with the word Atzmiyim. So we put great effort throughout these few pages, particularly last night, to try and get a handle on the principle of the Tainug, or the Ayin Soif, coming from the Ayin Soif state. Yes. What's the matter? You can't hear me? Coming from.
What's going on here?
Well, I presume that we are learning. What do you think is going on here? Hello?
Is that a killer?
I was able to hear Paltiel, but then it just went blank.
What's the matter? You can't hear me?
We can't hear you. Like, hold on.
Can you hear me or not?
It went blank? Okay, no problem. We'll call in with a different phone.
Alright, my phone is.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be calling you, be calling back in.
Please enter your conference ID, followed by the Welcome to the conference room. Please
This is the sound?
at the tone, please
Yeah,
thank you.
it's
You are
mic
now
and
entering the
speaker.
conference room. To exit the conference room, press ***. For help, press *9. You are participant number 4.
Yeah, Kiva.
Is that better?
I understand.
Hello?
I understand. We just
Alright.
We just called in with a different phone.
Alright, so we're in the middle of the page Lamed. Perhaps that's below the middle. The line begins with the word Atzmiyim.
Yeah, we just called back.
And as
in
we were
with a
saying
different
that we spent a lot of effort trying to identify the principle of that which is Ayin Sof, that which is above Chochmah, above Koiches, versus Koiches. And clearly the most important, most difficult part in Koiches is to understand the Koyach HaChochmah. Koyach HaChochmah is kind of between being a Koyach and being an Etzem. Because on the one hand, as we said yesterday, that it is a Koyach because there is an activity going on in terms of what it observes. On the other hand, it observes the entire reality in one instant. From a reality perspective, it doesn't sound like a koyach. It sounds like the etzem. And this is why the chokhmah has that capability of being memutz, of bringing the etzem into koyches. And this is what the word atzmim over here comes in, where the Rebbe says the very last words on the previous line. Koyach ha-chochma shuhu keili la-giluim atzmim shebenefesh. The koyach of chochma, and koyach by definition means something functional, something that whatever it has, it is via some kind of an activity. And an activity by definition means that it comes and trickles down in piecemeal, in pieces. That's what activity is. For example, you get from one place to another. You go there step by step. No matter how fast you go, it's still pressing the entire distance piecemeal. So it's a koyach ha-chochmah, and this koyach ha-chochmah is a keli legiluim atzmim shebenefesh. What does atzmi mean? This is why we say nefesh is the oineg nefesh entirely above, because there it comes with tzad etzem. It's an atzmi, and we spoke about atzmi a lot. It's really, as much as you speak about atzmi, there's no way that you can actually define it, because it's atzmi, it's above koiches. but we can point to it. We can point to it at various different levels, and on the simplest level, we point to the human being, that a human being has all kinds of different functions and different needs and different experiences. Then there is the essential experience, which is like an atzmi, and we cannot begin to define it. For example, as we said, there are many examples, that to a human being it makes all the difference whether he is an invited guest or he is a not invited guest at a feast. Even if nobody interferes with him, nobody says anything, and there is ample room and ample food and so forth. A human being needs to be an invited guest. Why? Because he has to have a real presence, not an inadvertent presence. Nobody threw me out, so I'm here. Just yesterday, in talking to someone, I brought out something that they mentioned way back. There's an interesting halacha, and this is all halacha, all human activity goes and have that quality. The halacha is that if somebody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to fast today, and he goes out and he follows through on his decision, he fasts the whole day till after Ma'ariv. Does it count like a fast or not? Does it qualify as a fast?
No.
The halacha is it does not qualify as a fast. Because any activity that a person, human being does, unpremeditated is not an activity.
Unpremeditated?
Yeah. It's not an activity.
So he has to decide from the day before.
That's right. He has to decide and he has to commit himself a day before. So that's called Tefillah. Kabbalah Steiners of Shas Mincha, normally is done with Shas Mincha, and then it's a Tainus. And then he can commit himself to fast a half a day, and it's also a Tainus. The Alter Rebbe explains in time. But without commitment, it's not an action. What is this? That's without a reality. It exposes the idea, hopefully, that we can sense it, the significance of the importance of this. This atzmi element, a koyach cannot possibly grasp it, because koyach is not atzmi. Koyach is functional. Therefore, if you're going to say this is what it is, you have to be able to explain it. What is the actual difference between this and this and this? Did I fast or I didn't fast? What are you saying? I didn't fast. What's fasting? Not eating. Did I eat? Point to something that I did that was wrong. That disqualifies it as a fast. You can't, because there isn't. Because in koiches you cannot identify in an atzmi.
Like the rabbi's horse who never talked Lashon Hara.
Chochmah, because of its beetle and so forth, as we discussed last night, is a keli likoiches leoires atzmi shebenefesh. And because it is at the same time a koyach, it is able to identify all the content that is in these oires atzmi. And in turn disseminated to the other koyachs. This is all in the marshal of nefesh. Now we're coming back to the nimshul. Likewise, similarly, we will understand the big day that in order that there should be a drawing of the tainug from us,
I'm sorry, Rabbi, where are we now?
We are in the middle of page Lamed. The line starts with the word Atzmiim.
That's it.
And at this point, we are
Okay.
on the next line. In order to be mamshich the steinung of Atzmus Ein Sof. Atzmus Oir Ein Sof, as the term itself tells you, that we're talking about Oir Ein Sof. Oir Ein Sof means that it's not a component, it's not a composed of many components. Because no matter how many components you have, it doesn't qualify as Ein Sof.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to be mamshich the tainuk from Atzmus Ein Sof Boru, beprote ha-madrigas atzilus, into the specific madrigas of atzilus. This phenomenon itself, that the tainuk of the Atzmus Ein Sof should be nimshach pote madrigas atzilus, that's imperative. This is imperative. This has to be, otherwise there is no madrigas in atzilus. Just as in the Kochas HaNefesh in the Moshel, that every Koyach HaNefesh and every movement, every activity must have the tainuk that is inherent in the Nefesh, the Etzem HaTainuk that's in the Nefesh. Just as we demonstrated in the case of a fast. It doesn't have the atzme element, therefore it's not a fast. In every kohen there has to be this element, this oineg atzmi of the nefesh. And the same thing is oineg atzmi, the atzmi shein yisef, to be mamshech, the oineg atzmi shein yisef. That it should be mamshech ve'prote madrigas atzilus in the various madrigas atzilus, such as whatever we understand about atzilus, but they're all madrigas, bino, das, chesed, gvura, tiferet, it's all prote madrigas atzilus. Each one is a valid reality in and of itself, and each one has an element of the atzmius, of the Eira Atzmi, brought to it through Chochmah. Zehu, that is accomplished at the day, Bechinas Chochmah Ilo Datzilus. Through the Bechina of Chochmah Ilo Datzilus. The word Bechina, as I pointed out many times, is a very subtle inference. And let us, at this point, we have done justice. That's it. What is what Bechina come into this? Bechinas Chochmah Ilo Datzilus. We said that Chochmah Ilo is a keli to the Eiris Atzmim from Eir Sof. How is Chochmah Ilo? How is a koyach a keli to Eiris Atzmim? We just finished saying that koyches and atzmim do not correlate. And yet Chochmah Ilo does correlate. And it is a keli. So we explained last night that the principle in this is that Chochmah has this phenomenal element of bita. It's a koyach, and it is a koyach that functions not via its own experience. It relates to the inyanim, to the truth as it is presented to it. To explain this even more, when you go from point A to point B, you walk from point A to point B. You started at point A, and now you arrived at point B. So you say, what are you doing here? I got here. In other words, I brought myself, through my effort, I brought myself to this point. This point became real to me. I oriented myself and identified with this point because of my effort. All the steps that I took to come from point A to point B. I can account for every step, for every effort that it took. This is the experience in every koyach. Except for Chochmah. Chochmah does not claim, I got here by my effort. I identified my effort. Oh, I had that. Yes, I got it. There is no participation of Chochmah itself in what it is realizing. How come you see this? I'm being shown. I'm totally inadvertent there. Just like in sight. Do we see because of my effort to see? No, I see because it's there to see. This is why you see the reality as it is. This is why Chochmah sees the reality as it is. So Chochmah is a non-presence in itself. Non-present, how do we say that this non-present is drawn into koiches, which is presence? You can't take a piece of Chochmah and put it into Bina, put it in the Chesed. There is no piece to take.
Where does the beetle come into the picture?
Beetle?
Yeah.
I should explain. The beetle this is what enables Chochmah to be a keli, to Oiras Atzmi.
Question became, how does the non-presence, namely Chochmah, impact
other koiches? There's no presence to it.
And the other koiches are all about presence and
All
accountability.
koiches are present, right? You grasp it in Chosed, you express it in Chosed, in Gura, in Bina even. The answer is that the Chochmah per se does not have there's nothing to grasp in Chochmah, and you cannot put it into anything. But then there is an element called Bechinas Chochmah. Bechinas Chochmah means an allusion to Chochmah. Chochmah, something that alludes to it, a sense of it. Like we explained many times, the word Bechina in translation means a test. What is the principle of test? In today's day and age, we know very clearly what that is. That you have, said, a drop of blood, and it looks like identical to any other drop of blood. But under a microscope or under a certain chemical test, it reveals certain qualities. That's not in a normal view. There is nothing tangible that you can identify with. There is a certain purity or chasson that is purity, impurity.
Is the meaning of Bechina here a hidden attribute?
An illusion. A sense.
Bechina means a sense?
Bechina means a test.
Oh.
In translation. What is the point of saying a test of Chochmah? The presence of Chochmah is identifiable only under a test. In other words, you're doing this and this because I have this and this reason. I'm going to work because I want to accomplish this and this. And you can define it at many different levels and many different details. Bottom line, you're going to work because you sense a certain reality in life, which is provided by Chochmah, which you cannot really express when asked the question, why do you go to work?
That reality, that would be the Bechinas Chochmah?
That's a Bechinas Chochmah. Baruch atah. Thank you.
Why not just Chochmah? Why not just the reality? Why do we seek it? Wouldn't the reality just be the essential reality, the essence?
Because that cannot relate to any koyos.
Chochmah sees it in a way like the reality is beyond any kind of limits. Chochmah sees an unlimited space, so to speak.
But
this is the Bechina?
Yeah. Chochmah is Chochmah in itself. Then how does it relate? How do the koyos relate to Chochmah? They cannot grasp Chochmah per se. Chochmah is not an entity.
They don't get what Chochmah sees, right?
They don't have Chochmah.
But they have a Bechina.
They have the Bechina.
That there's a certain reality sense that comes along with...
that Chochmah disseminates.
That's the gift.
There is an overall truth in what you're doing.
But how does that...
What you're doing, you're part of it, and like we say all the time. You go from here to China. Okay, so you relate, this is earth, and this is ground, this is air, this is... The real sense that permits you to go from here to China, which is an entirely different environment in every respect, is because there's a subtle sense that this different element was actually something that you were able to relate in your Chochmah. Before you ever got every variation, like we see odd creatures. Every variation of creatures, Chochmah can relate to.
The fact that Chochmah can relate to every koyach is because when Chochmah sees, it sees an unlimited, like you made a distinction between being everywhere and unlimited space. So it could sort of break down this etzem. Chochmah sees in a way of unlimited parts, so therefore there are parts. There are parts. And then the parts can get a sense from Chochmah because
through these parts.
Through
these parts that Chochmah.
So everything has a place in the unlimited parts. Every single thing has a
in the conglomeration of the parts. Chochmah is a cloud. It conglomerates everything.
The cloud.
And the reason, like you said, the reason it has that conglomeration is because it senses there is Atzmi. And Atzmi is everything.
And as opposed to Oiros.
Oiros Atzmi. Oiros Atzmi from the Nefesh. Oiros Atzmi Nefesh is an expression of an Etzem reality.
And that's the meaning here of Zehu al Yedei Bechinas Chochmah Ilah Be'atzilus, by means of Yedei Bechina. This is where we are.
That's why I was trying to refer to the word Bechina, how Bechina can be there.
So this Bechina is like an illusion, what we're saying. So when the man goes to the train, we're saying inside that activity is an allusion to the reality that life is real, or however we're putting it.
Right. On the highest level, exactly. Okay. Exactly. If not for that, you wouldn't be able to make a step. This is the phenomenon. This is the whole mistake, the whole fallacy. the psychological expression. Give him a good reason, give him a good impetus, and he will do it. It doesn't work. There is no chayas in it. You have to have a source of chayas, a source of life. Then you can do all kinds of different things. This stupid idea that everything wants to guarantee its continued existence, to exist. Why? What's the point of existence? Where is the highest in existence?
And does this really answer the question we started with, was how is it that something that's a non-presence, chokhmah, impact the lower koichos? We're kind of seeing how when the man goes to train there is that allusion to something greater, and there has to be, fine. But still again, how is it that something higher, that's our question, chokhmah and non-presence, impact these lower faculties, these activities like the train?
Because within chokhmah itself, this is the thing that chokhmah is a keli. Chokhmah identifies within oiras atzmi everything that can possibly be contained in it.
Okay.
Because this is what Etzem contains everything.
It identifies everything. Oh, it has these components, these so-called elements.
Yeah, but normally components are elements that compose the entity.
Yeah, they're not constituents. They're just.
That's
they're
meaning
just
the cloud. That's the difference between
Here's
cloud.
that's the reason cloud. Exactly.
And the etzem is way beyond.
What happens here?
Stopped you. Hello?
Let's go.
You just
You shot us off. Okay, we're back on. No.
Oh, okay. Where's one? Let's do it now.
Please hit start.
Yeah, I'm definitely involved.
All right.
Let's do it now.
No, there's different ones for each one.
Yeah, I know, but this one is for this. This one and that one. And this is the pshat. Alidei bechinas chokhma yilo da'atzilus, because the oil is soiv shoyre b'chokhma. Because that oil is soiv shoyre b'chokhma, oil is soiv shoyre b'chokhma. How that element chokhma, that phenomenal thing, how does that relate to koiches? The answer is it doesn't. And there is an allusion to it. There's a bechina. If the chokhmah itself would be felt in the koiches would dissipate.
So they sense that aspect of chokhmah that's particular to them. You know.
They said they have the aspect of themselves of what they are, but they sense that what they are is meaningful within the chokhmah. Okay.
That last point, each koyach feels that within chokhmah they are meaningful, that they have a higher relevance, a higher arrangement.
To put it in very simple terms, you work in order to make money. Clearly there are further levels of this. But wait a second. I'm not working in order to make money. I'm working in order to have money. How does that allow me to go and work? Doesn't that mean that I'm working out of an impetus of negativity? I'm supposed to have money. I don't have it. Go and make it. It cannot be. There has to be an oiling. There has to be something positive about it. The answer is there is something positive about making money, going to work. bringing the whole phenomenon of making a livelihood in this very, very low-level world. Making it happen here. Where you have to make money in order to have money.
But to be productive.
This is it for today.
You mean you have to improve the world somehow, and it make a difference in the world.
Whatever the reason is, there's a sense that this is right. Each one, please take your phones. Yes, what?
Can I make an announcement?
Go right ahead.
Maybe it was said last night that Aaron Ganin his wife had a baby boy, and
Okay, you know what? I'll do that because I have it on my phone. Go ahead. What else?
the song's up in it tonight, and at Beis, Menachem at 770 Leopard Avenue near Little Foster's home.
Where is that? Near what?